Good morning, ladies and gentlemen, honorable judges, and all the betters. Welcome to today's debate session. My name is Salma Pradipa Ramadhani, and I will be serving as your chairperson for this round. Before we begin, allow me to introduce our adjudicators, Dimas and Rafi. The motion for today's debate is this House believes that the media has a moral obligation to promote educational content. On the government side, we have Prime Minister Risha, Deputy Prime Minister Risha, Member of Government Alia, Government Whip Safa. On the opposition side, we have Leader of Opposition Sally, Deputy Leader of Opposition Sakira, Member of Opposition Renita, Opposition Whip Renita. Each speaker will have 7 minutes to deliver their speech. There will be a single reminder at the 7 minutes and another reminder at the 7 minutes signaling that the time is up. Please maintain silence and respect while others are speaking. Now, let's begin the debate. To open the case for the government side, please welcome the Prime Minister. Prime Minister, the floor is yours.
Thank you so much, Chair. Good morning, honorable adjudicators, respected members of the House, and my fellow debaters. As the Prime Minister, I proudly stand before you to support the motion. This House believes that the media has a moral obligation to promote educational content. Before moving forward, let's clarify the key terms in this motion. Media refers to all mass communication platforms, including television, radio, news outlets, and digital platforms that reach and influence the public. And then there's moral obligation, means an ethical responsibility, not a legal or forced duty. It's the expectation that media should do what is right for society beyond profit. And then the last one, we have educational content, means any content that informs, teaches, or raises awareness, from documentaries and science programs to campaigns that promote civic knowledge or public understanding. So, in essence, our stance is simple. Because the media shapes how people think and act, it has moral responsibility to use that power for the public good by promoting knowledge and education instead of purely chasing entertainment and profit. The first one we have, media is more than just an industry. It's a pillar of modern civilization. It informs, entertains, and connects people across the world. But with that influence comes a moral duty to ensure that what it spreads contributes to social progress and public awareness. If the media can shape opinions, it should shape them toward truth and understanding, not ignorance. And in the second, look at our reality today. The media landscape is dominated by infotainment, endless celebrity gossip, clickbait headlines, and misinformations. Educational or meaningful content often gets buried because it's not profitable. This imbalance leads to a generation that knows more about trends than more critical issues, from health to civic responsibility. And then, when media promotes education, it empowers citizens. It reduces misinformation, raises social awareness, and fosters critical thinking. This is not about turning media into a classroom. It's about ensuring that the most powerful communication tool in society fulfills its duty to elevate minds, not numb them. So, in conclusion, at the end of the day, the question is not whether media can educate, but whether it should. We say yes because with great influence comes great responsibility. A moral obligation doesn't limit freedom, it gives purpose to do it. And that is why we proudly stand with this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, thank you, Prime Minister, for your speech. Now, to continue the debate, please welcome the Leader of Opposition. The Leader of Opposition, the floor is yours.
Okay, thank you for the opportunity. As the leader of oppositions, I firmly reject the motions. This House believes that the media has a moral obligation to promote educational contents. My stance is that the media should not be morally bound to prioritize educational materials because its primary role is to inform, entertain, and provide a platform to diverse voices, not to function as an educational institution. Media organizations operate under the principles of press freedom and audience demands. Imposing a moral obligation to promote educational content would limit editorial independence and reduce the variety of purposes the media can serve. People consume media for many reasons: news, relaxation, entertainment, or social engagement. Enforcing every outlet to prioritize education would neglect the diversity of audience needs and motivations. The core reasoning behind this is that education is primarily the responsibility of formal institutions and governments, not private or commercial media entities. If the media is required to take on that moral duty, the line between journalism and education becomes blurred. The media already contributes to public awareness by reporting facts and fostering discussions. That is a form indirect education without needing an explicit obligations. Scholars in media ethics, such as Christians in 2016, emphasized that the media true moral responsibility lies in truth telling, accountability, and serving the public interest, rather than in promoting specific types of content like education. As long as the media provides accurate, fair, and reliable information, it fulfills its ethical purpose. Forcing it to focus mainly on educational materials could unintentionally suppress other valuable areas such as cultural expressions, entertainment, and political criticism. That said, the media may choose to promote educational content when appropriate, but this should be a voluntary ethical choice, not a moral obligation. The concept of educational content itself is subjective, that one group find educational, another might find irrelevant or biased. Thus, such an obligation would be impractical and restrictive. Finally, in response to the government likely claim that the media must promote education because of its strong influence on society, I argue that influence does not automatically imply moral obligations. Not all media have the same missions, capacity, or audience. Imposing a uniform moral duty would threaten media pluralism and creative freedom. Therefore, the moral duty of the media should focus on integrity and truth, not on being an alternative education system. Thank you.
Thank you, Leader of Opposition. Please welcome the Deputy Prime Minister. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. As the Deputy Minister, I will further and strengthen our stance by addressing the opposition's expected arguments and deepening our moral and practical justifications for this motion. The first one, the opposition claimed that the media's job is only to entertain and make profit, that it shouldn't be burdened with moral duties. But here's the truth. Moral responsibility does not mean restriction, it means accountability. Just as doctors have an ethical duty to save lives, or teachers have a duty to nurture minds, journalists, producers, and broadcasters have an ethical duty to ensure that what they share contributes positively to society. Freedom without responsibility is chaos, not liberty. The media doesn't just report, it shapes opinions. When misinformation spreads, we see the consequences: confusion, division, and ignorance. Therefore, promoting education is not just an option, it's a moral necessity, a safeguard for truth, democracy, and social progress. And the second, Educational content doesn't mean dull lectures or documentaries only. It can be creative and engaging, from environmental awareness campaigns to health education segments and even interactive learning platforms. Look at National Geographic's BBC Learning or local initiatives that teach people about digital literacy and environmental care. This example proves that when media embraces its educational role, it changes lives. So the conclusion is a responsible media doesn't have to choose between entertaining and educating. It can do both, ethically and effectively. If the media holds the power to shape the world, it must do so with integrity. And that is why the government strongly supports this motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Prime Minister. Now, please welcome the Deputy Leader of Opposition. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. As the Deputy Leader of Opposition, I stand with my leader in rejecting this motion. We both believe that the media's true moral duty lies in truth telling, accountability, and diversity, not in force to act as an educational institution. The government claimed that the media spared ignores my sound persuasive, but it is built a very weak foundation. The idea of educational content itself subjective. That one person call educational, another might call biased or even political. So when the government says the media has a moral obligation to promote education, the real question is who gets decide what counts as educational. This opened the door of control, manipulation, and even propaganda as all disguised as moral duty. First, let's look at the practical problem. If we truly impose a moral responsibility on the media, someone will have to monitor and judge its content. But who is that someone? A government body, a private regulator? Either way, this kind of supervision limits journalistic independence and threatens freedom of speech. Reporters and creators will start self-censoring or write their work might be labeled as not moral enough. Instead of promoting knowledge, this will lead to fear and conformity. My leader has already mentioned Christians et al. 2016, who argue that the media's real moral obligation is to tell the truth and serve public interest. Forcing them to produce only educational content goes against the principle and narrows the space for honest and creativity journalism. Second, we must also be realistic. Education is the job of school, teacher, and formal institution, not private media companies. Media can contribute to learning, yes, but it should not be obligated to do so. People consume media for many different reasons: to get information, to relax, or to be entertained. Expecting every show, film, or online post to be educational is simply unrealistic. Entertainment is not the opposite education, it is part of human experience. A comedy show that helps people unwind after work or a song inspires emotion can also have a social and emotional value. The world needs both learning and leisure, not one forced standard of educational morality. Third, the most importantly, this motion is dangerous because it can justify moral control. Once morality become a rule, it can easily be twisted, and those in power, government or dominant groups could decide which topic are educational and which one are not, silencing criticism and shaping public opinion in their favor. This is how propaganda begins, not through open lies, but through moral labels, and that seem good on the surface, forcing media to follow a moral code uh, doesn't this just limit creativity, it limits freedom of thought. In conclusion, our side believes that true morality in media is not about forcing educational message, but about protecting independence, truth, and diversity. The media should have the freedom to choose when and how to educate, rather than being morally bound to do so. Once we impose this obligation, we lose not only creativity freedom, but also a very integrity and makes the media valuable to society. Therefore, we proudly reject the motion. Thank you.
Thank you, Deputy Leader of Opposition. Please welcome the Member of Government. The floor is yours.
Thank you. Honorable educators, ladies and gentlemen, good morning. As the member of government, I will extend this debate beyond ethics. While the opening government focus on why the media has a moral duty, we will show how this responsibility creates a long-term impact on society, especially for the next generation. The first is media shape the future generation. In today's world, the media is not just a source of entertainment, it has become the most powerful teacher of our time. Children and young people now spend more hours in front of a screen than in actual classroom. What front of screen than in actual classroom? What they see, hear, and share online from their way of thinking, their emotion, and even their belief about right and wrong. If the majority of what they consume is gossip, violence, or middle entertainment, then society loses a generation of thinkers. They may know trends and celebrity, but know how to do question, analyze, or empathy. That's why media should integrate educational value. This doesn't mean turning every show into boring listen. It means using creativity and storytelling to inspire curiosity, like documentary, science programs, social awareness campaign, or even meaningful short film. Then this empathy and responsibility. When media choose to education, it's not controlling, it's guiding. It's giving young people something meaningful to take away. And when millions of minds grow up guided by curiosity and awareness, the whole society benefits. Opposition might say this limits freedom, but moral obligation is not a law, it's guidance. Just like journalism has ethics, media creators have a responsibility to use their influence wisely. Freedom without purpose become chaos. True freedom includes the wisdom to do what is right. The second is empowerment through educational media. Educational media is not only about children, it empowers everyone, especially those who don't have access to quality education. Millions of people around the world can afford private school, tutors, or good university, but most of them have a phone, a television, or internet connection. The screen can be their teacher if if the connect is meaningful. We have seen this during the pandemic. When schools were closed, media became the classroom. YouTube channel, digital platform, and online talk show help millions continue learning from home. This show that media can democratize knowledge. It can make learning free and accessible to everyone. And let's be clear, educational content doesn't mean it has to be serious or boring. It can be creative, emotional, and fun, like animation that teach science, or short video that raise awareness about climate change, culture, and kindness. When people learn through this message, they become more informed citizens, people who can think critically and make better choice. Opposition might argue that it's not media job education, but the truth is media role changes with its power. When media become the main source of information for society, its nature carry a greater responsibility. Just like company practice social responsibility, media should practice intellectual and moral responsibility. The opposition keeps defending freedom, but they never explain what kind of freedom that means. If freedom means the right to spread anything, even missing information, hate, or ignorance, then that freedom destroys the very society that protects it. We, on the government side, believe it's responsibility freedom that uplifts, educates, and analyzes. Our stance doesn't limit expression, it gives expression meaning. Without value, freedom becomes noise. With responsibility, freedom becomes progress. The conclusion of member Ladies and gentlemen, the media hold the pen that writes the future. If that pen only writes for profit, it misleads. If it's write with purpose, it's education and empowers. So when we ask the media to carry educational value, we are not silencing our creativity. We are saving a wiser, more conscious generation. That's why we proudly stand with the government. Thank you.
Thank you, Member of Government. Now please welcome the Member of Opposition. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. Honorable adjudicators, esteemed member of the House, as the member of closing opposition, I extend our case by exposing the court danger in the government proposal, the danger of moral labeling in media. While owning opposition showed that moral data limits creativity, I will take this further. This motion risks turning media into a political tool. The idea of moral obligation shownable, but when morality becomes institutionalized, power decide what is right and wrong, and when power defines morality, thought becomes its first victim. First argument, the risk of moral bias. Labeling media with morality invites manipulation. Once morality is imposed, someone must decide what moral, usually government or corporation with vested interests. This transform media from an independent watchdog into a mouthpiece of power. History showed this clearly in the Soviet Union and Nazi Germany. Moral responsibility justified censorship and propaganda. Even today, regism supplies journalism in the name of moral media. What started as education become moral control. Objectivity vanishes and truth is replaced with loyalty. Government claim morality isn't enforced, but morality without power is meaningless, and with power it is censorship. You can impose morality and keep independence. And moral codes brief self-censorship and ideological conformity, destroying the free marketplace of idea. And then second argument, diversity of value. Morality and education are culturally relative. What moral in one society can be offensive in another, in like gender equality debate. Universal moral obligation silence diversity and empowers the dominant ideology. The first storytelling foster creativity and understanding. Moral conformity destroy it. Closing government say morality ensure quality. We say it ensure conformity. Anything outside their moral frame becomes irresponsible. Science and discern. And one moral code erases difference and innovation. True education grows from dialogue, not indoctrination. The conclusion: This motion aims to make media better, but morality is not neutral, it is political. Morally, moralize media stop questioning and start obeying. True responsibility in media is not to preach morality but to protect freedom, because freedom is where truth emerging. Therefore, we firmly reject this motion. Media creates morality is not remain independent. Thank you.
Thank you, member of opposition. Please welcome the government whip. The floor is yours.
Honorable educators, respected members of the House, and fellow debaters. As the Government Whip, I will summarize this debate, define our stance, and explain why the government bans clearly stands stronger in both logic and morality. The opposition keeps saying that moral obligation limits freedom and might cause bias or control. But moral obligation is not a law, it's an ethical compass. It doesn't restrict creativity or censor expression, sorry. It simply ensures that the media uses its freedom responsibly. The media already follows ethical codes to report truthfully, to avoid harm, and to respect human dignity. So, promoting educational content is not about control, it's about aligning influence with integrity. They also said the audience only wants entertainment, but the media is not passive mirror of society. It actively shapes what society becomes. When the media fills our screen with gossip, violence, or misinformation, people mindset and priorities shift. So if media can influence that much, it must also take responsibility for what it promotes. As my partner explained, the media today educates more people than school ever could. Children, teens, even adults, they all learn from what they watch, read, and scroll through. Whether it's a TV show, YouTube video, or news headline, the media constantly teaches, either consciously or unconsciously. That's why we say the media already plays an educational role, whether it admits it or not. The question is, what kind of education are we giving through it? If we allow to be dominant by clickbait, false information, and shallow entertainment, we are shaping society that values popularity over truth. Promoting educational content doesn't mean banning entertainment. It means balancing it with value and meaning. It means using storytelling, art, and journalism to inspire cu- curiosity, empathy, and understanding. This every healthy society needs. And responsible media can still entertain, but in a way that also enlightens. For example, documentaries, informative talk show, or creative short film can all be both engaging and educational. So the moral obligation we're talking about isn't a burden. It's a change for media to be purposeful. Morality is Morality in media is not limitation, it's guidance. Without moral compass, the media becomes driven purely by profit, spreading misinformation, fear, and division. But when guided by moral duty, it becomes a force that builds awareness, encourage learning, and strengthen democracy. That is the kind of media our world needs. The government has proven. First, the media has immense power to influence public thought. Second, with that power comes moral responsibility. The less educational content ensure responsible influence and inform citizens. The opposition, however, only defends freedom without considering accountability of freedom that risks harming society. In the end, the media is not just about telling stories, it's about shaping minds. And when you put power, neutrality is not enough. Responsibility is required. Therefore, we, the government, firmly believe that the media has a moral obligation to promote educational content. Thank you.
Thank you, Government Whip. Please welcome the opposition whip. The floor is yours.
Thank you, Chair. As opposition whip, I will show how the government has collapsed under its own contradiction. They glorify morality but never defines who decide it or how it avoids bias. They compose morality with responsibility. Journalists, ethics, accuracy, fairness, transparency already provide real accountability. Moral not legal is meaningless if unenforced. It is apathy. If enforced, it is censorship. Moralism media always ends in propaganda, never freedom. The media based self-trust. Independent allows diversity and prevent manipulation. Trust arises from open dialogue, not moral enforcement. Press Freedom Index show free media wild more trust than moralized system, and opening government equated power with that we say it meant ethic, not morality. Closing government claim morality and show quality, we showed it breeds conformity. Our bench proved that moral framework invite manipulation and erase cultural diversity. Ladies and gentlemen, the government moral media promise goodness but delivers control. We defend journalism through foundation, freedom with integrity, not morality with bias. And for the protection of truth, creativity, and democracy, we proudly claim this debate for the opposition. Thank you.
Thank you to all debaters for your insightful and engaging speeches. Now we will give time for our honorable adjudicators to deliberate and decide the result.
Okay, thank you, Chair. All speaker demonstrate good command of the language, clarity and structure must maintain confidence and composure throughout the some speaker or further improve impact by controlling tempo, emphasizing key points and varying vocal dynamic for more persuasive deliver. As Prime Minister, Russia opened with the confidence and the clear actuality. Key point, key point were well structured, draft emphasis on the definition and the verming could be stronger. As the deputy prime minister, delivery was solid and persuasive, arguments were organized and logical with smooth transition, minor pacing adjustments could improve impact on the crucial point. Opposition, Sally, calm and control deliver with a clear articulation. Argument structure was strong, but more vocal variation would enhance emphasis on the key points. Shakira deliver argument naturally and clearly. Rebuttal were effective, but slight pacing arguments could improve audience conversation at the end of her speech. Closing government, uh, very strong delivery confidence, automative argument were convincing and well-structured method excellent composure and clearly could further enhance impact with slight modulational of tone for critical points. Closing was energetic and well structured. Deliver was smoothly clear, but a few segments were rushed. Key points on the media freedom and the moral obligation could benefit from stronger emphasis and the pacing to maximize persuasive effect.
Okay, and now I would like to announce the champion. For the first champion is closing government, and the second champion opening government or DPM. For the third is closing opposition or OW, and for the fourth opening opposition and DLO. Thank you.
Once again, thank you everyone for your participation and attention. This debate session is now officially closed. Have a great day.